Morning, Alex.
What's going on, mate? What's going on? We sat through the worst intro right there for you guys. Obviously, I don't know what's going on with YouTube. Seems like Facebook is seems like things are a bit big buggy with this stream. Let me double check and make sure. Okay, yeah, it is working, but it's unlisted. That's
I
why.
can't see it on YouTube just yet. Still not
Nah,
coming up.
yeah, it's unlisted, which is super strange. I don't know why it's unlisted. There you go. Public. Yeah, there you go, man. So what's going on with you anyway? It's probably going to take a little bit of time for some people to actually come in because it's
Yeah,
only.
not much, man. I've obviously been ill the last few days, so just recovering from that. Just trying to get myself back to where I need to be, and then sitting there letting my four trades play out, which I've been in for ages, which is a killer.
See that's quite nice though as well because you don't have to be so focused on the charts, I guess.
I can't. Yeah,
Unless you tell me right now, it's like no, actually I'm proper focused. I'm watching them all the time, you know.
because I'm hands off in management of the trade as well.
Yeah,
Especially this week, I sat there and I went, "There's no analysis to do. Either my trades play out or they don't." And obviously, at the minute, I'm still technically in all four positions, so
yeah,
highly leveraged. But they're looking better than they were last week. I think it just took a bit of time to play out with the lower volume
yeah.
like that. How have
Let's
you been?
just. Yeah, to be fair, like everything, we have a lot of holidays here and stuff like that, so it's been pretty busy here with like family and stuff like that. But the charts are moving interestingly, man. Like obviously we've had this really interesting sell off this morning. Dollar is obviously picking up a little bit of a higher retracement, but we'll go through that. Do you want to just go through right now, maybe what's been happening with your trade, and I'll just post
Absolutely,
this on
yeah.
Instagram.
All right, cool. Starting off on EU then. So, I mean, higher time frames. A couple of weeks ago, before I took this trade, which was on the week commencing the 29th, so it's still last month. I was predicting price to ideally come into these three weekly areas. So you got a few wicks in here that were forming. You had this low that took out this low. We're obviously very choppy and rangy. So at the minute, the rejection's coming from the upside. So once you start to get that golfing bearish candle, the idea is you can come further down to take out further lows. Now you've got to remember we're still very bullish in higher time frames.
Mm,
It's a pullback that could be short lived. So my prediction going into this week was I set a limit around 1.17500. It got tagged in the first day of last week, and then the rest of the week just did nothing. I think I did that. So I went into this week pretty much a break even, but then obviously straight away since the week began, we had a bit of a weird Monday. One Monday was weird, retraced, and then it just got filled, and then from there we're continuing down nicely, and I think should be getting that squeeze today if we're going to come down. We've pulled back a little bit in Asia, and we've seen a top wick. I'd like to see yesterday's lows cleared really, and then that should come in. It's only a 2R. It's not anything massive. I think I'm more relying on my GU trades. So that's EU, and I didn't take this on my FundingRock because I was already in GU, and it just made sense to just stick to GU and
mm.
GU.
That's a
Yes,
low. See, when you're looking back at it as well, and you're on a higher time frame, it just looks super clean. But I remember all of that consolidation, and it was awful because
it's when you
you
zoom
just.
in.
Yeah, when you zoom in, you go into like a 1 hour, 2 hour, like a 1 hour, 15 minute. We had days of
Just
just
terrible.
chop. And now we're actually picking up, obviously, well, we're going to the downside. It looks like we're going to hit that bottom of that level, to be fair. Um,
Yeah. Where do I start with GU? I mean, I took a trade even a week before the previous week, like second to last week of September, which was based on a higher time frame. We got a very strong engulfing candle, and I got in on the top wick of that week, which we then got tagged in. Price started running down quite nicely, and we saw a drop initially clearing these lows on the daily. So
mm,
I, at the time, was just in one of my positions, and obviously with being one position in FundingRock, the TP was going to hit at the actual TP down here, but obviously
Mm.
at the second position, which ended up being, I believe, this one here, ended up getting tagged in that the following week because I still had a bearish bias, and then that's the pullback of that week. Price then nearly stopped me out. We're very close to getting tagged out on that one. Then last week, I think on Thursday, just got a daily engulfing bearish candle. So that lower high, I was expecting to form a new lower low. Then this move would have been a smaller move. So these two bigger plays still got ages to go, like nowhere near getting them coming in. But we've seen price again. That nearly stopped me out. Then price started running, and then I think it's not quite. Let me get rid of this replay.
Yeah.
So that's running nice, and these should come in today. Really, I think EU and GU that would be about 5R profit, but managed to hit FundingRock on that two positions that took me out there. So phase one's passed, which is really good. I think I've done really well there to get that passed within a couple of trades.
Yeah, and to be fair, like now, obviously you've got a couple more days to trade, no, until you actually pass, or have you passed on to the second phase already?
So I took my minimum days at the start, so
Ah,
I've
okay,
already
so you've
passed
passed
that.
on.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah, yeah, yeah,
on phase two already. So
yeah, yeah. I like that. Like you don't have to do like profitable days or anything like that because that would have been very annoying. That would have
yeah,
been swing traders can't. You get like maybe like one trade every
a
every
week or something. Yeah,
and that those trades there took what, a week and a half, 2 weeks.
yeah. I mean, this trade I've been in for 2.5 weeks. This trade I've been in for nearly a week, and it still hasn't hit TP. And this other one's been in for 2 weeks, which means if I need the profitable days, what I'd have to do on other prop firms is get out whilst I'm still in the trade and take out 0.5% of that position for the day. So it's scaling out of the
Oh,
position early, which is not what I like to do.
yeah, that could be quite
Yeah,
annoying, definitely. Wicked. So let's go through the markets and let's have a look at what obviously is happening today, and then we'll get into a little bit of a segment where you'll tell us a little bit about how you trade. It's
yeah,
quite interesting because there's similarities to the way that you trade to the way that I trade as well, except for you obviously higher time frame, naked charts, things like that. But there are a couple of similarities. So you can tell us as well how you're getting on with lower time frame, or if you've just let go of that already.
Didn't know
Let's
that.
let's have a look. So obviously EU this morning we had this weekly level broke yesterday through that weekly level, and then we've had that retracement on a 50, and now you can see the reaction. The reaction this morning, kind of by the book, actually. Like if you see all the different confluences on here, it's not surprising why we came up to that level. It hit the two. It's such a shame that I didn't catch this move because it hit the 200 EMA. It's on a weekly level. It's hit a 50. Got so much confluence behind a trade. It would have been a bit of a no brainer, but I just sat on my hands. Sat on my hands for that one. So EU really the next place we've got is that 1608 level, in my opinion. Obviously that's the level just underneath here, and then if we break that, we retest it and we come to take out these lows, the next level, which would be that weekly level at 1589. So we've got a little bit of a range here, to be fair. Obviously we've pushed down already quite a lot. We've had 30 pips underneath the no, for the open we haven't had that much actually. We've still got quite a lot of room to go if this does decide. To be fair, we could even get this today. I'm not sure. Let's have a look at USD CHF again. Same thing with USD CHF. If we had a look at the Dixie, we were talking about this break and retest type of trade last week. So it came down, hit the prior highs pre-break, consolidated, and then pushed off. Now, in my opinion, we're having a deeper retracement on the dollar, and you've even got this up here, this prior area of consolidation, which is that prior range. If we get back into this range, so you've got the range lows right there. If we break back into this range, then who knows? Maybe we can come back and start consolidate again at the bottom and then start pushing back up. I don't know. That's very, 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 very far into the future. We could just end up coming to the top of this range and then just again coming back down. Who knows? At the moment, it is very, very, very bullish. We look like we're coming up to that 99.80 level, which is around here, to be honest. I could place a bet that we're going to come up to that level. What else? EG. As if we have not got any music on here. I've only just noticed.
There we go. Yeah,
Can we hear it?
uh-huh.
Good. So EG, we're again had a really nice push up. We had a nice bit of consolidation, push. Any kind of retest, maybe on that weekly level and a push up, that would be quite nice as well. Pound dollar. Well, look at that. It's just on an intraday time frame. It's just basically shat itself.
Yeah, it's on there.
So it's like,
Fine.
what is going on with that one? Gold. So I don't know what's going to happen with gold, just because we've had a little bit of peace over with the situation over in the Middle East. Maybe that may be a little bit of a catalyst for it just to come down for a little bit of a deeper retrace. I am not going to be shorting it, but I would say a really nice area to go long would be from probably that or the 4,000 or the 3,993 area, because then it will be a break, retest on that little high, retest on that EMA. Maybe we have a little bit of a spike down and it comes to test that little bit of demand, but I think it would probably close above there and then push off again. So that's something that we can look at. But shorting gold, I don't think I've got the stones for it. What about you, Kelsey? Do you think you got the stones to short gold?
Definitely not. I mean, because it's hitting that 4K level, is it going to go down at some point? Because it's hanging around that area now. But then again, if you took multiple winners on buys, I would not be worrying about trying to sell it unless you get structural confirmations more on the higher time frames, maybe.
Yeah, at the moment I'm not really seeing it. Obviously it's still
bullish.
Very, very bullish. That would have been a really nice trade as well. You got the break of the 15 EMA straight down to the 200 right there. Super clean. It's really nice that you can see these in hindsight. Always, isn't it? That's probably dollar yen pushing up. The trend on this is absolutely crazy. It's moving like an equity.
Look at that gap. It's not even come back for that gap at all. It's just gone.
Just gone, yeah.
Gone. Yeah.
Yeah, moving just like a stock. Obviously, pound's super weak. Bitcoin not really doing too much, just hovering around about, around these higher levels. Solana, we're at, we've hit the top of this range, so we've got some levels in between. Let's see if we can actually start pushing up on them. That is pretty much it, man. I don't see anything else. I think really I'm gonna wait and see what happens with Euro.
Mm-hmm. I think it's looking good for more downside. It's just a matter of
when and how long.
Is that going to come in before taking out them lows?
Yeah. I wouldn't want to be longing all of this. All of the EMAs are down on pretty much every single time frame. The only thing is you do have like a little bit of catching up with the EMAs around here, so there could be maybe a small retracement, so maybe like a small push up, maybe into this area of prior supply, and then a push down later on.
Good shout.
Maybe, but Yeah, I don't know, mate. I don't know. Jatenda, what's going on, man? Jatenda was short as well. He was short euro and he got caught
Yeah.
just a little bit. Void as well.
Void.
What's going on,
Oh,
lads? People are starting to come in. The YouTube algorithm's starting to work.
the usuals are back in.
Yeah. So go on then, Wilski. If I put it onto yours, do you want to give us a little bit of a brief rundown of how you look
Yeah,
at
man.
certain things, certain
Right.
trades?
So, yeah, how I try and keep it really simple. I base my strategy more probably from the weekly time frame. If I'm looking from the month, I don't mind looking at the monthly to get general idea of where we're moving. Like you can see on coming into this year. So I'm going to start from the start of this year on GU. We're very bullish after we had this huge drop, and I think we've corrected some of this move that we started dropping from. So we've got to keep in mind that overall we are very bullish, but the weekly is obviously a lot lower time frame than the monthly. So what I usually look at going into this year, let's get the first week out of the way. So where I'd start on the weekly is I'd mark in and try and identify direction. So how I would do that is I would understand just from weekly highs and lows exactly where we're breaking through or what the most recent ones are. So obviously at the minute you've got this huge weekly bullish leg that we're actually looking like at this point going into this year we're going to break through that. And obviously that's our most recent low to the left. So I just mark these up as liquidity really. And what I'm trying to do on the weekly here is identify the higher time frame direction. And what I decided at the start of this year was I'm not going to go against trading that direction. And I've got criteria that I've got, which I'll show, of how I decide that the criteria changes. But I want to try and trade the higher time frame trend. And the reason why I do that is because my targets are higher time frame. So where other traders like to play counter trend trades, maybe in the 4 hour, 1 hour, that can work really well. But if you're playing to the higher time frame targets, don't expect you to catch a big counter trend trade. So we had this low as well. So this is a wick to the left that we've just broken through. So you can see that at the minute we're very bearish and we're getting further confirmations of breaking through this low. And because this low obviously nicked this low, and then this is what took us up to make further highs. So going into this year straight away, I'd be bearish. So I'm identifying at the minute that we want to see further downside. What I would do from a higher time frame perspective is for swinging, I've got a higher time frame trade, which is if I deem that the week is going to have a wick pull back up, I'm trying to catch that top wick of the week. So on the weekly, I would mark up certain areas. Now, it obviously depends on how you trade. I'd be marking in this previous low. That would be my weekly imbalance fill. I would also be looking at, obviously, this is a potential small order block area. So the question is as well is when you're going on the weekly and then you start scaling down onto the daily 4 hour, you're trying to find what's the highest point of which this week will pull back. So you don't know, right? But you've got to look at certain areas within this of where it could pull back to. So really you can go down scaling down. I mean, you can see you've got a massive daily fill here as well. So price could pull back into this area and then continue down. So I'm just looking for that play down to the previous weekly low. So I'd be really just setting up trades on the higher time frame based on that. So roughly, if we were looking at getting in somewhere around here, let's just say for this instance, we've got stops above here, try and get somewhat of a 2R. So maybe the stops is not going to be that big. I'll be marking up previous weekly lows, which would be here as well as targets, previous weekly highs further up. So let's say it's something like this. I'd probably just set up a trade like this on a limit and see if the week was to pull back. So that would take me out there. So that would be a loss. But whilst that's a loss, at this point here, the daily time frame on Tuesday has signified that it's left a wick to the upside, and therefore this could be the top wick of the week. So I'm looking for scaling down now into lower time frames to try and execute. So I'll go into the 1 hour coming into this day, and I'll be trying to identify here throughout Asian session before here, is there a way I can catch this move? So I'd be looking at just probably getting in off this. So I'd fib up this leg going into this week. And I would be looking for us to respect really the golden zone, which is normally what I'd mark in, and then look to target low. You can see that's about 2R. So we can see on the 4 hour if this plays out throughout the week. So that plays out on the same day. So whilst I might have took a loss at the start of the week from maybe a limit here, once I get that daily confirmation, I'm then looking for the week to then flip bearish and give us that break of previous weekly low. So that's an example of a week of how I would trade it. And then we were to come onto the weekly and identify a trend change, because it might be hard to identify when we're going to go back to being bullish. What I'm looking for is, you can still see at the minute it's bearish. But what you get at this point here is a very big engulfing candle. Not just that, I always look at areas on the weekly. So this area should have been respected if we were going to go down. So I like marking in the imbalances there. When that gets broken, to me now, I'm looking at being bullish. To identify where the target for that high is, we've got to look on the weekly. And you can see here that realistically, this is the highest pullback point that really gave us that significant low. So now I'm bullish to this level. One thing to note when you're very much on the higher time frames is to see price just do this and go straight up. Very low probability, because price is going to normally on the daily 4 hour give you a pullback to give you that high. And it may not just be this week that goes like that and that. This could take multiple weeks. So again, at that point now, I'm kind of waiting for further pullback. So it'd be looking something like this. And then when we get them confirmations, start playing up to that. So you can see how this plays out over the next few weeks. We had a bearish week, and then we filled this previous high. We respected it. And then from that point, I mean, the buys are on, because if you go onto the daily, you can notice that despite us still being in this like massive bearish structure, you've got clear higher highs and higher lows starting to form. So your idea is you want to be getting in these lower area points. If you're expecting that these lows are going to get respected, to then get your trade up to here. So that's how, in your head, if you're a higher time frame trader, you can hold trades for days or weeks without necessarily caring about if it's going to pull back. Because if you're getting in at these lower points, or you're getting these confirmations, you maybe can scale in, getting in on this day, somewhere in here on the lower time frames, looking for, you know, these lows to be respected here. So on this day, and then you could have a second position that's playing up to these highs, and you can see that over the coming weeks you get beautiful moves. So that confirmation of being bullish off that started this whole push back up. And when you look back at what happened here throughout the year, obviously this low was a huge inducement for us to take out the previous yearly high, and all that was at the time was a sweep. And once it formed structure bullish above it, I mean, it just went for the whole year, and that's where you should have been bullish the whole year. And you're playing up to the further highs here, you can see.
Was that a sweep of a monthly candle, a monthly level?
Yeah, but we didn't, you see that we didn't break it. We just came into it, took it out. And then you can just see it just looks bullish again on the monthly. And there you could have still capitalized on sells coming down, but you knew that they were more short-lived. And then, you know, position trading, if you're in here, if you're really high time frame, you can hold up to here throughout these and try and get in on these pullbacks. And that's really how I trade. I just try and look at the higher time frames and keep it simple. And that's my style, and it works really well when it's trending. It's more when it's not trending that I struggle, to be honest. But that's the way it is.
That's the thing. I think if you're waiting for those massive macro levels, that's a really nice way of trading, but it probably takes
Months.
weeks and weeks and weeks before that to actually happen.
100%.
So with this, where do you reckon that the best trades normally take how long to actually plan out?
So if I'm getting in off the weekly wicks on limits, them trades can take weeks. But it's the ones where you get these daily confirmations that I try and trade off. Like when you get this confirmation here, and maybe you're just playing up to this high, a couple of days. Once again, once you get sweeps down here, I mean, these moves, if you get in on this day, you can be out in a day to this high, or if you hold. So it depends when you're getting in. If you're getting in when the movement's pushing, you're obviously going to get in and out quite quick. It's when it's not moving as quick. But your positioning in the market is, and that's why people found it so easy to trade probably up to this high at the time, coming into the May and June, because all throughout here when you're trading, you know that you're within this high.
Yeah.
So there's a higher chance that can get tagged. But then as soon as you're past it, you're in no man's land to an extent. And you can still use areas to the left, but you're not going to find the moves to be as easy at all. And then you can just see how it started to chop. And then throughout them weeks, you just started to really look unsure about where you're going. And whilst you could still be looking for trades in here,
It's
this
tough.
is rather than taking losses a lot more. So yeah, it's a different way of trading to how most people trade. I like it because I don't like making decisions very quickly in the moment. I like to take my time.
Yeah.
That works for me.
I'm definitely fast, impulsive,
Yeah.
momentum, but I can see, especially for long-term opportunities and position trades, this strategy is perfect. Because if you're waiting, if you've got like these because there was a guy I spoke to when I was back in London that used to work for a couple of investment banks, and he says the playbook for these guys are simple. Everybody has the same macro levels, and they just buy and sell from those macro levels on the chart. When it comes up to a macro level, and I'm talking about levels on the monthly, like you're talking about levels that have been the same levels for 20 years. At those particular points, when price gets into, they're just irresistible. People either buy or they sell off those areas. And I think from there, it's like one of the areas that you just pointed out. It's to have those levels and just wait for some confirmation on weeklies and dailies can put yourself up for some really nice position trades. Because I asked him, I was like, okay, what do you do with technical analysis? He was like, technical analysis bullshit. And I was like, oh, he's like,
Different type of trader.
technical analysis is bullshit. And I was like, okay, then. And he was like, look, fundamental analysis and levels. That's it. Blah, 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 blah. I was like, he's definitely a way bigger, more experienced trader than me. Me with my I trade 1 minute time frames with a 10 pip stop. But it's definitely very, very, very interesting, man. It's just you need a lot of patience because you will not be getting. How many pairs do you actually trade then, Wilski?
Currently, pound USD, and that's the one I've just shown you, and then Euro USD. I'm starting to think to an extent I might incorporate a third one going into next year because I'm trading so similar assets. In my losing streaks, I'm losing a lot. Whereas if I had that different pair, I could have a few winners on that, which would counteract the losses. So I don't necessarily, because I swing trade, a lot of traders will have 5-10 pairs. I don't do that at the minute. But I do in my head recognize that when periods of time are bad on the markets, I need to get out of the market and I shouldn't be getting in as much as I do. So I'm still learning now to this day. And I think when you're trading higher time frames, like you said, you need patience. You need to be happy taking a few trades here and there, but then you also have to have the ability to hold it. Trust it, because if you don't trust it, you can get out within a few days and you might not catch much at all.
That's the thing. I think it's very easy. It's very quick that you can start building up statistics when you're an intraday trader. Very quickly, you can start to see if you've got some type of edge.
Yeah.
Because you're taking way more trades. Whereas with this, it's like it could take, you got to do more back testing, and then you got to trust the back testing, and then you've got to put it in. It's a longer process, to be fair.
Yeah, the live data feedback is very minimal. So you have to rely on the testing. Whereas if you're in the live markets trading lower time frame, so many opportunities, you can really work on like a 6-month, 3-month frame and see your edge play out a lot.
Yeah. That's why I've always said always been an advocate of not even, back testing and like all of that stuff. I always was so against it because on lower time frames, if you've got a small account or even a prop account or anything like that, like a boot camp, for instance, I'm going to throw it out there, like something like a boot camp where you're not paying a lot and you're just gradually doing it without all the risk, there's no reason to be doing back testing. You can just forward test because you've got enough signals and enough trades that you can quickly build that up with having a bit of skin in the game. Because there is something as well about feeling the market at live time, which is different back testing. Have you ever been on back testing? You're clicking the button, boom, 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 boom. Oh yeah, I'll take that trade, boom, 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 boom. But you don't really feel how the market is feeling. When I came in this morning and I saw this move, and I was like, that would be a really nice short, but I don't know. There's something feeling today's feeling. Maybe I'm gonna hold off. And those feelings as well. You're gonna have to learn to work with. And if you don't, if you don't practice with those things, then that's something that big come into your trading that could actually ruin your edge. So there's a lot of stuff to it, to be fair. A lot of stuff to it. Let's see what else. See what we got. I don't think we're gonna have any trades, man, because it is really just really impulsive push down. Coming off that daily level that's been touched. So what's the plan of action now with this this phase 2 for FundingRock?
I usually like to drop my risk a little when it comes to phase 2. So phase 1, I was doing 2% because of the infrequency of my trades, especially. I don't want to be in them for too long. Like I said, even though it took me a month, I still managed to pass it within a couple trades. And what I usually do is 1.5% on phase 2, but it depends on the prop firm. Obviously, with FundingRock, there's no minimal profitable days. So as long as I can, spam a few trades between now and tomorrow, that's already 2 days. I'm not a 0.01.
Yeah.
So it could just be that one big winner. So it depends on also the risk to reward. If I've got a 5R trade, then I only need 1% risk. Whereas if I had a 3R trade, I would need that 1.5% risk. So that plays into it as well. And then probably would start 1.5% and look to take. It depends. It's always the way. If you start in drawdown, you've got to claw it back. If you start taking a win, you can pass it on trade. So
yeah, it's always warming up the account sometimes is the best idea, but it's you got to be methodical about it, to be fair, because like you said, you can just take one trade and that's it, or you can take loads of smaller trades, a smaller RR, and go into a loss, and then obviously you've got to claw that back. So it's quite an interesting way. I've always been the type to, start off warming it up. Doesn't matter if it goes into a bit of drawdown, as long as you're not going into heavy drawdown, and then bringing it back. But you're gonna be, if you can pass this, bro, it's gonna be you're gonna be our first 200k funded trader.
Really?
We've got a couple 50ks, couple of 25ks, but not a 200k. And we've had a lot of people take 200k accounts, to be fair. It's actually one of our more popular ones, which is interesting.
That is interesting, yeah. Well, I've been that way where I very rarely fail a prop firm account. And I like to take it slow, and that's just worked for me. And sometimes a prop trader can go through probably 3 accounts failing it and pass it before I've even passed one of mine.
Yeah.
So they're going to pass it quicker, but they're going to have the consequence of paying a bit more money into it. So yeah, I'm going to take my time with it. Obviously, if a trade comes in, I'll take it and try and set the standard for, that's max allocation right before scaling, isn't it? 200k.
No, you've got you can have up to 500k.
Is it? Right, okay.
Yeah,
I'm sure on the website I've read and it says 200. So
yeah, you can have up to the initial balance up to 500k.
Wow.
So 200ks and 100k. I'm looking at gold actually. That looks quite nice. Just having a look at this. So I'm looking at gold. It's come back into the Asian range, come back onto all of these lows, and it's starting to push a little bit off. I'd prefer, instead of shorting it, I would, if there's a long opportunity, I would go long. We have got obviously all of these lows underneath here, and we've got that EMA that's still coming up. We're sitting on that 1 hour EMA right there. So could be a nice trade. Let's see. What are your thoughts on gold, man?
I would only buy it.
Yeah.
You got the right idea there, but I think I'm not sure. I'm not sure where it stands in regards to. Obviously, at the minute, you can see on the 1 hour time frame, we've pulled back into that 4K level. So is that the retest of 4K to go even higher up?
Yeah, 100%. That 4K level. Let's mark it out.
A few nice taps.
Yeah, let's mark up 4K level out.
That's slightly above, I think.
Yeah.
4K.
Wow, no. 4K levels way lower.
Oh, it's not even been tested.
Yeah, haven't even been tested yet. Which kind of leaves it to the question: is he
going to still do it?
Yeah, because if I was going to long right now, I'm longing into resistance. To be fair, because you've got all of these levels right here, so maybe it isn't the best opportunity. You've got all of these spikes, all of these lows. You've got the 50 fib right there, and then you've got this 4K untapped level. But on lower time frame, let's have a look at lower time frame. Break underneath. Yeah, I think I can just probably leave it be, to be fair. And if it pushes up, it pushes up. I gotta be a little bit more picky at the moment. EU also come back down for a retracement of retest on this. That could be a nice little mover, to be fair. If I mark out this area right here, it wouldn't be a very big. It's not a very big range though. It's like what, 9 pips. Even if I got into it here, it'd be what?
Not much at all, is it?
Not much to play around with though. But because you've got these like very, very weak highs right here. Let's hold on a second. You got these weak highs, all of these little spikes. Could be quite interesting.
How do I enter for free at FundingRock? Well, I might be able to do a giveaway soon. Do you reckon?
Yes, we keep saying we're gonna do that. We got Denzel's doing a giveaway at the moment. That's going to be released later on today, I think it is, and then we'll get Kelsey. We'll get you on with a giveaway as well. So you just gotta make sure you're following Wilski on IG. Your IG is Wilski, correct?
IG and YouTube, yeah. Same on both.
Yeah, and then you've got Denzel, or you just keep an eye on the FundingRock Instagram, because you'll see little opportunities where we'll be doing giveaways and things like that. Yeah, I don't know, mate. I don't know. What other news have we got? What kind of news have we got coming up?
This week, like obviously the government's still shut down. So NFP was meant to be this week, and then they moved it to next week now.
Still shut down.
Still shut down. It's kind of going on for too long at this point.
It's a bit strange.
I feel
We're
like
living in a simulation, mate.
Weird time.
Government shutting down. Okay, well, I wonder when that's gonna happen. I wonder when the news is gonna come out. 'Cause I reckon people are holding off. Then people are not traders. I wonder how traders are positioning themselves if you know.
And then it just begs a question: what's driving the market more? Is there pound and euro weakness at the minute more than the fact there's anything going on with the dollar? There's a few tweets that have come out from Trump saying
Yeah.
about tariffs or something like that, which could drive the market a little bit. But as a whole, there's not probably that much to move on the much higher time frames
Yeah.
at all.
So you've got obviously jobless claims and things like that. All of that will come out as normal. Well,
Is that supposed to be today?
yeah, that's today. Yeah, so jobless claims, initial claims. This stuff can, on higher time frame, it's not going to do too much. But especially if you're in your 5-minute trades and you've got your lows prior, you got your stops at prior daily lows, or you've got your stops in, within the range of the daily range, then this could be a little bit of a problem.
Yeah, it's scary being involved. You just don't know how much you can get slipped on the news. That's the problem.
If you're leveraged up as well, some of those moves can be pretty savage. I'm not going to lie. Maybe we can get into a small scalp on euro. Let's have a look. Euro USD.
You're going for a buy.
Just a little bit, because we have quite a heavy push down already. So I'm thinking about it, yeah, just to take out all of these little highs here. It wouldn't be something too big. I would only go in like 0.5% risk, but that's what I'm thinking. Yeah,
Itching for a trade.
we're live stream. We're live stream. We can't. Gotta give the people what they want. Gotta give the people what they want. Stop loss. Put the stop loss underneath there. That's about 500 risk. Take profit, taking out all of those highs. Risk to reward ratio is garbage, but there you go. See if we can get a little bit of momentum up there. Just because we've got all of this consolidation, all of these like weak lows that are just asking just to be taken. Gold's pushing up a little bit from that area. Yeah, gold's pushing up actually quite nice. Look at that.
Yeah, just as you left it just started moving.
Yeah. Oh, it's really pushing up. Bastard.
It's so hard to pick the right asset when you think about it and you're like, actually, no, leave it.
It's not even just that. It's the fact that how much more can we push up, man? Serious, without like a deep retracement on gold. Like I think, and that's the problem. That's the problem sometimes as well with like traders or retail traders or whatever. It's like you don't mind buying something where it's coming down and it's cheap, and it's hard to buy something when it's expensive, or where really if something's going up, that's just a sign that people are just buying it and buying it and buying it. So why wouldn't you buy it? I
spent a long time trying to call a top or a bottom, and I thought I was so clever. You catch it and you think you're a genius, but most of the time you just lose it.
Yeah. Calling tops is dangerous game. Calling tops and trying to short all-time highs, because you just don't know how far it will keep going. And I've had that when I was trying to short Ethereum, which was one of my first biggest losses, and I was shorting it at all-time highs, and it just kept on going. So I've learned my lesson from trying to short all-time highs. Best thing to do is just keep longing it until it breaks some kind of structure, and then obviously the unwind on things like that though can be really aggressive.
Quick. Yeah, it's always a way out. Quick.
Yeah, up the stairs, down the elevator. It's like
You've got to be ready when it happens. Get in early.
I remember the unwind on Bitcoin, man, when everybody thought it was going to go to 100K in like 2021. And it made a break, retest, continuation, took out the high. I'll see if I pull it up on the screen. Took out the high and then just demolished absolutely everybody.
Oh,
It was this was it, 2021. So everybody thought we were going to go from here to 200K. So everybody was in this kind of area. It retested this area of demand and then instantly started pushing up. Now, for everybody, including me, this is super bullish, man. Like nobody was saying, full on trap, because it just came back up, retested these highs, didn't even close above the all-time high, and then but then you look at it now, it's like, how silly could you be? It's like crazy.
That was such a good opportunity back when did it drop to, like 16K? I think it was around there.
Lowest was 16K.
Now it's nearly 10x. Well, that was ridiculous.
Yeah, 6x, 6.5x. That is crazy, to be fair. All right, got a nice little pump up on EU. See if we can get a little bit of a continuation with the momentum. Obviously, we've got all of these EMAs right here that it's still holding against. Let's have a look at where the EMAs are on a 5-minute. So that's one of the reasons why I think this has still got a little bit of legs just to push up, because all of the EMAs, other than the 1 minute, there's quite an interesting gap. So normally, where there's a gap between price and the EMAs, it normally tries to fill in those areas of imbalance.
Right.
So that's all I'm looking for.
Yeah, it seems to have lost. They had a lot of volume earlier on, and that was a bit like yesterday. You had Asian session pushed down on both pound USD and Euro USD, and then it pulled all the way back up, and then it went all the way back down later in the day, right at the end.
It can be super choppy, but all of that volatility makes people a lot of money.
A lot, yeah.
What's this question? Hold on. Alex, you're not with the Fivers team no longer?
Doesn't look like it.
Yeah, this is interesting. Yeah, this is very different now. No, FundingRock is a different prop firm, so I'm no longer with the Fivers, as you can see. Wow, gold is really, really pushing up. Bloody hell. So that would have been the target on that.
Looks good now.
See if we can come down to that 50 and see if it then finds some support. We've got another about 10 minutes before we turn off the stream anyway. We've been about an hour. It's good to have you on though, man. I tell you what, yeah, man, it's tough being full time, and it's nice to have somebody to chill with as well sometimes.
100%. I suppose you're so busy when you come off the streams as well. It's like nice to have that period of time where you can just focus on the charts.
Trust me, yeah. When you've got so many different things going on all at the same time, it's very, very difficult to pay attention as well to the charts and do like 5 other things at the same time. But we've got Denzel coming on a little bit later. We're going to be doing the giveaway.
Is he going for another challenge in a minute?
think so. Yeah, I think he's got he got a 25k account. Took a nice 5% payout. Was it 5?
Yeah, it was about 5%. Yeah, huge.
That was fast as well. I think he probably
Rapid.
pushed it a little bit too fast. Like I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe it. But that's GJ. He only trades really GJ. So
Moves well, GJ. When it gets going, if you're on the right side of it, you can
they're a little bit too fast, man, for me.
I don't like it. It's too much.
Too fast.
Yeah.
And they're too unpredictable. For me anyway. GUEU is probably enough for me. Okay, I got a meeting in 10 minutes. So how's your other accounts going though? So now you're running in those profits. What are those looking like? Because I know you're in a little bit of drawdown. Are you close to getting out?
Yeah. So my 2 FTMO fundeds, one's in 4k profit, one's in 2.5k profit. In terms of from the balance,
200Ks.
Well, I'm about 7,000 up on them, which I could obviously. That's the hard thing is obviously see that they're nowhere near profit target. I've got to let them play out, but you could secure that 7k, 6k payout, which that's just you've got to learn to just deal with that. You see the numbers as well because they're both 200k accounts. You just look and go, wow, this could get big really quick.
That's why it's got to keep thinking about the percentages and not the money.
It is really about that. Then I've got 5 funded next and 5 is nearly blown anyway, but one of them's running at 96k from 92k, so that's up 4k.
Yeah.
The other one's at 198. No, wait, that's not it. That one's 98.5. So I'm clawing back these from nearly being blown, both of them, to trying to get them back to balance, which they'll both get payouts if all of these trades win, but I'm highly leveraged in my positions at the minute. I need really a couple of them to hit TP so I can get out and just be able to take further trades if they set up. I've got other challenges on the go. One's back at break even, the other one's in a little bit of profit. And obviously then the FundingRock's not been taken yet. So I've got so many different accounts on challenges and funded, it's kind of crazy at the minute. And that's the hardest thing about being in all these trades as well. Like I'm sitting there for 2 weeks, 1 week, trying to let them all play out. Psychologically, I could blow hundreds of Ks of funding, or I can get like FTMOs will get me like a 25, 30k payout if these all play out. So something I've never been in this position before where I can lose funding or get huge payouts or pass phase ones or blow the challenges. It's just crazy in a minute. But I just trust in what I'm doing. If things don't work out, then I can just reassess. That's what I can do.
Yeah, 100%.
It'll be the biggest payouts I've had ever. You combine all the payouts that I've had, they still would be smaller than these payouts if they come in. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, that's the thing, isn't it? It's like you've got 2 ways of going. Either going for loads of little payouts or going for the big ones. I don't know which one pick your poison. Yeah. But with 200k accounts, they can get big quickly, to be fair.
Massive.
Yeah.
Especially if you're risking on one of them, I risk 1%. So one's a 0.5%, one's a 1%, and you just see how quickly it moves up into profit. Scary.
Let's see what happens with EU. Got another few minutes. Looks like he's lost those EMAs.
Struggling.
It is, isn't it? Because you had that little bit of an impulse. Couldn't really find continuation from there. Let's have a look at the 5 minute. Just testing out all of these lows right here.
Tell you what, I've actually really enjoyed the trade locker. I've tried the C trader on desktop and I still prefer trade locker overall.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I quite like it. I'm
Yeah,
enjoying it.
it takes a little bit of getting used to, but once you get used to it, it's just like MT5. Not MT5. It's just like Trading View,
It's just
and
it's just
yeah,
updated for taking trades on it, and so you could just use it if you wanted to. Like you've got, you could just use that as your analysis as well.
pretty much because it is just trade. It is just Trading View, based off all of those different charts and stuff like that. So let's see what's that. So we come down, broken all the EMAs. Keep it open, just see what happens. Yeah, mate. I pretty much obviously tend not to do it on the 1 minute. It's normally better on the 5 minute. This is definitely not the trade you'd look for that particular setup on that. But if we were looking at it from this 1 minute, then you would, yeah. So you'd wait for price to break above, all of the EMAs to start crossing each other, and then you would aim for the 200 EMA. The only thing is, at the moment, you've got EU that is super, super, super bearish, and you've got the EMAs that are spread really far behind. Ideally, for that kind of trade setup, you want price to really slow down and all of the EMAs start pointing together. Then while that 200, this would be the kind of setup. And then once price, that's the type of trade that you would want, if that actually makes sense. If you have a look on the 1 minute, you can see how roughly it would look like, but you'd want to see that it's much better on the 15 minute and the 5 minute, because they've already had time for price to base out and find proper support. And then that kind of trade is really, really good. This is still in play, in all fairness, but this is on a 1 minute time frame and can just, as you can see, we're broken under the EMAs anyway, so we've got a couple more minutes. What are you doing for the rest of the day then? You're just going to do some content?
I need to sort out a video on the YouTube. I'm going to do a video on how I've passed this phase 1. Because
nice. Yeah.
I don't think I've passed many phase 1s where I've just had like one trade idea and it's just one. And it's just passed me phase 1. So
yeah,
good to show and that's the side of trading that's sometimes good, is that I've shown my funded challenges where I've been 5 losses in a row to start with. But when you catch the winner to start with, game changer, because then you've already passed.
Look, it's an impressive trade, to be honest, because I remember when we were just stuck in that range and I was like, brutal, man. Super, super annoying place to be. But you sat through that and came off the other side past the phase 1, so
taught me a lot. Going to Wembley, well, watching England Wales, they've got a friendly going on.
Really?
Yeah.
The rugby?
Nah, it's football.
Yeah,
international friendly. So doing that.
Yeah. That's today.
Tonight. Yeah.
Nice, bro.
What about you?
What about me? Seeing friends, normal, doing some stuff. Probably go and do a bit of wrestling. I got my ass kicked yesterday.
Did you? Get back into it.
Yeah, no, it's just the amount of moving around. It's just really, 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 really intense. It's non-stop. So like drilling is just non-stop. And especially if you had a little bit of time off, that's when I say it kicks your ass, because it's just like you're dead afterwards,
Yeah, you're done for.
Yeah, 100%. All right, boys and girls, well, we've got to go, but it was glad at the end we had around about 20 people, which was really, really nice. Good. We'll update probably later on with what happened on this particular trade. And that's it, man. Wilski, when are we seeing you next?
Next Monday, pretty sure.
Next Monday. There you go. So join in to see Wilski next Monday. Hopefully by then he would have done his video on how he passed his phase 1. You guys could all watch that as well, and we will see you then.
Cheers,
Bye,
guys.
guys.
Take care. Have a good day.